Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm sorry I'm late. Today's just one of those days. So in this video,
What he says about happiness in marriage offended a lot of men, but there's actually science behind why women in midlife and postmenopause don't need romantic relationships in the same way that men do. And I'm going to tell you about it. But first, listen to what he says.
A woman in her 30s who doesn't have romantic love, it's like the greatest tragedy ever. You know, poor Lisa never found romantic love, and now she's in her 40s and she has cats. What a tragedy. Guess what? Lisa's just fine. All of the research shows the following. Men need and benefit from relationships much more than women. Widows are happier after their husband dies. True. This is true. If a man hasn't cohabitated with a woman or been married by the time he's 30, there's a 1 in 3 chance he'll be a substance abuser. When women don't have a romantic relationship, oftentimes pour a lot of that energy back into their friend network and their professional lives. When men don't have a relationship, they pour a lot of that energy back into online content, nationalism, misogyny, anti-immigration. They start blaming other people for their problem.
haven't we been saying this? Haven't we been saying this? How long have we been saying this? I have so many videos on this channel alone with topics like this or similar to this ones. I'm so glad that there's a man out there who is saying this, because all you hear a lot of these men say is that you're going to get single with the cats and you'll be miserable. You know, you have no purpose if you don't get married, if you don't have children. Like, don't you want to take care of children, and so on and so forth. And the truth is that, we'll be fine. You know, the truth is that a lot of women do not need that. You know, a lot of women are okay. Most women are fine. The key word is most. There's the few who really, really want romantic relationships with men. But then, for the most part, if it didn't happen, they'll be all right. This argument, I'm sure, is not going to end today. It didn't start today. It's not going to end today. There's so many men on the internet who would argue this till thy kingdom comes. So, yeah, it's not going to end today. But then, yeah, it's the truth. He said everything. If that's all he said, but that's the clip I'm seeing on TikTok that people are talking about. So, hey, let's get in.
A woman in her 30s who doesn't have romantic love, it's like the greatest tragedy ever. You know, poor Lisa never found romantic love, and now she's in her 40s and she has cats. What a tragedy. Guess what? Lisa's just fine. All of the research shows the following. Men need and benefit from relationships much more than women. Widows are happier after their husband dies. True.
Okay, here's the part most people don't talk about. Midlife changes women in a very real, very physical way. New brain imaging shows that menopause doesn't make your brain shut down. It literally just rewires. It reorganizes itself around lower estrogen. And that shift changes your awareness, your boundaries, and what you're willing to carry. And something else happens. Midlife becomes a second identity building phase. You get clearer about who you are and what actually matters to you. Studies link this kind of clarity to better long-term mental health. It's like your brain stops running on everyone else's expectations. And here's the big one. Women don't emotionally regulate through romantic relationships the way men do. We're wired to get support from friendships, community, and connection, not just one partner. So by midlife, relationships become like a nice addition, not the foundation holding us up. So it's not that we stop wanting love, we just stop disappearing inside it. We stop needing a relationship to feel whole in a way a lot of men do. If you felt this shift, I'd love to hear in the comments what that looked like for you.
Widows are happier after their husband dies. True. This is
Every time I see another video, Scott, it just gets worse. You start off this video talking about Lisa, who is happy with her cats. She doesn't have a man. And now it's widows who are happy when their husbands kick the bucket. And then you turn around to say in the same video that men who are married live 5 to 7 years longer, that men who do not get married by the time they're 30 have a higher risk of substance abuse problems. Why would we want to marry you? We're happy when you're dead. Where is your answer to that? You keep saying your own 3 Ps. Everyone knows I have my 3 Ps. Scott's are provide, protect, and procreate. So your answer is to bring a couple of bucks into the home, have a bat by your bedside, and fuck a lot. We already been there, done that, and we're happy when you die. What are you offering? What are you offering to young women? What are young men offering to young women to gain the benefits that marriage gives to men and sucks out of women? Your only answer is marry us or we're gonna die. Marry us or we're gonna take drugs. Oh, to be a rich white man. Just to be a rich white man, because clearly you didn't have to run this message by one single person. What are young men offering young women that young women actually want?
Did you guys see that video on here that went absolutely viral where that girl said, and I quote, "If my husband dies, I'm not getting another one." 4,000 comments, almost all completely in agreement with her. And you know what? She's onto something. Take my grandmother, for example. She is 90 years old. I have never had a grandfather as long as I've been alive. I'm 37, so he died well before I was born. She's been single this whole time. And my grandmother is not lonely. She has us family members. She goes on her church trips to casinos and stuff. She used to have a killer garden. Like, she lives a rich, fulfilling life. My grandmother is 100% still with it. Doesn't need any mobility aids. Is completely there cognitively. She still drives. She still mows her own grass. She's just 100% with it. Growing up, I never understood why she never remarried. She did date, but she did not remarry. And now that I'm older, I completely understand it, and I also credit it with her being with it as long as she has. There were some dissenting opinions in that comment section, mainly from men who were like, oh, these women must hate their husbands. I think it's actually the opposite, because the more I think about it, the more I think this describes me too. I've been with my husband since I was 19. That's another story for another day. But we've been married for a long time, and if he goes, I'm not replacing him. And it's not because I hate him or I hate men. He's my best friend. I've also had mostly male friends, gay, straight, doesn't matter. The older I get, the more I just want to be alone. And like most of the comments in that comment section said, friends with benefits fine, male friends fine, lavender marriages are perfect. If any of my gay besties want a wife, I volunteer as tribute. But the cohabitating, the learning another person when you've been with somebody for so long like I have, it just seems overwhelming and daunting, and you're competing at that point with my solitude and my cats, and I just don't think anyone can stack up to that. So I just think this phenomenon is so interesting that it is such a universally shared experience amongst married women.
You know, poor Lisa never found romantic love, and now she's in her 40s and she has cats. What a tragedy.
You know, I used to find it weird that men, very specifically white men, white older men, had such a problem with cats. Can't understand why. Cats are wonderful. Cats are beautiful. And then I listened to this and I figured it out. The reason they have a problem with cats is because they just realized that they can be replaced with cats.
Men need relationships. They need it more than women. There's this cartoon of a woman in her 30s who didn't find romantic love and is now living with cats. The reality is she's fine. Yeah. When women don't have a relationship, they pour that energy into their friends and their work. When a man doesn't have a relationship, he pours it into conspiracy theory, porn, and misogyny.
Men need relationships more than women because they want a woman to delegate their life like their mother. Men want relationships, not partners, because they don't need the relationship, they need the woman. They need the laundry done and the food cooked and the house cleaned, but they don't want any of the emotional responsibility that comes from sharing your life with someone. But that offers nothing to the woman aside from giving her someone to care for. So men need to become fully functional adults so that they can evolve to a place where they're ready to receive a relationship. Women do fine when they're single because their lives get easier, but a man's life gets harder after a breakup because they've essentially lost their administrator. But this also comes down to emotion. Women spend so much of their relationships trying to give love and receive it. So when they leave their romantic relationships, they can pour that love into friends, family, and hobbies. But men spend most of their relationships trying to avoid connection. They're getting frustrated when their wives tell them they want to talk. They refuse to acknowledge their wife when she walks through the door, and they don't even want to go out on a date night. So men isolate after a breakup because their wives were the ones who were trying to keep them social. Women spend so much of bad marriages begging for closeness. So we talk about women having glow-ups post-divorce, but the glow-up is really just getting back their time and energy so that they can put it into something else. If a man would be lost without a woman, then he's not ready to be in a relationship with one. They have to be able to give love and be able to receive it, because women cannot be the fixers of men, and they can't be the only means of completeness.
Yeah, I think they've all said everything. I mean, knowing that your wife will be happier if you were not here. Think about that. You know, a lot of women, and that lady's video where she was talking about there were so many women in the comment section. That wasn't there. I couldn't find the original, but under her own comment section, there were so many women saying if they were not with, although they love their husbands and so on and so forth, they're all saying if their husbands are no longer in their lives, they're going to be single. And that should tell you. There's so many times I've seen videos of older women who are being interviewed in the street, like just ask questions. What is one thing that you wish you didn't do? And they'll be like, getting married, having kids. So many. So most of the times when they say, oh, we want women like our moms, I laugh. Because have you spoken to your mom? Have you spoken to her? Have you really spoken to her? Is she being honest with you? You know, and that's the more reason why when your father is no longer there, they are not even looking at another man, because it's hard. It's too much work. But on the flip side, when it came to men, they will settle down quickly. A lot of men are good at a monkey branching thing. And what I mean by that is that, like, jumping from one relationship to the other, you know. The only time I've heard a lot of men leaving like a relationship is when they have another woman to replace you. Most of the times, okay? When you see a man bold enough to come to you and be like, no, I don't want this relationship anymore, I want to start, it's because they found a new woman to replace you, you know? And that's why most of them will stay in, you know, a relationship that they do not like. They will continue to cheat on you with other women who do not want them, you know, but don't mind sleeping with them, don't mind taking their money. If those women wanted them, they will leave. And those women were willing to do the things that you did for them, they will leave. They only stay because they've not found a new supply. And that's the thing. Okay, most men will stay in marriages. They don't like their wives, they hate them, they think they made a mistake, and so on and so forth. But they stay, and you ask them, they always complain about this woman, and then you ask them, so why are you with her? And they'll make the excuse of, oh, maybe the kids. Oh, what do you call it? What will people say? No, it's because they've not found somebody else. Most of the times it's because they've not found somebody else. But if they found someone else who will put up with them, they will leave. They will leave. So yeah, the next time you get that argument about, oh, we want women like our moms, well, it's not because she loved him so much and she was devoted to him and so on and so forth. Most of the times they were waiting for it to be over. They didn't want to lose out on all the things that they've worked so hard for, you know. And that's also the reason why some women stay, because they don't want to lose out on all the things they've worked so hard for. They don't want another woman coming in to reap the fruit of their labor. You understand? And that's why they stay. But aside that, if that was not in there, and also because of the kids, but if that were not in there, oh my God, they will leave, okay? And sometimes it's just that they're a bit too old and they can't bother it. And oh, let me not just forget that yes, there are women out there who actually do love the men that they are with, like they love them because they are good men, okay? And that's the reason why they don't get married after. There are women out there who do not leave because their husbands are amazing men. But most marriages, most of these women will tell you it was horrible. They didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun. And they didn't like it, basically. Okay. And I know a lot of people will say, well, everybody needs somebody. Yes, but some people need some people more. That's what we are saying. You know, some people need some people more. Yeah, but if men are not there, who is going to build the houses? Who is going to do this? We are not saying you shouldn't be here. We are talking about marriages. Okay? Okay? If men were not there, men were not building houses and laying pipes and working in the railways and whatever, and they are not being married to us, we'll still be fine. That's what we are saying. We'll still be fine. That's all we are saying. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here and I'll see you again in another one. Take care of yourselves and one another. Bye.